Over the past few months, the amount of Pedro Pascals in my life has exceeded all acceptable norms. I see him in news feeds, reels, TikTok. His antics are discussed in chats and groups. 3 movies with him are playing in theaters right now. On one hand, he's praised by those who adore him and support his political statements and positions similar to Rachel Zegler's, calling him a 21st century icon. On the other hand, he's discussed by those tired of him. People even coined a separate term, Pedro Pascal fatigue. Friends send me memes and stickers with his face. Social media recommends videos where he touches another woman. Hollywood doesn't stop flooding us with content in series and films format. Who is Pedro Pascal? Why do some go crazy over him while others increasingly notice his very strange, alarming behavior both on camera and behind the scenes? Can we evaluate an actor and his abilities properly, separate from how he behaves in society and what kind of person he is? Make yourself strong tea, and let's begin. Pedro Pascal is a famous Hollywood actor who gained worldwide recognition for his role as Oberyn Martell, a role he obtained in a rather specific way, namely by undermining and stealing the role from his own student. After that, his career took off. Narcos, Kingsman, Mandalorian, Wonder Woman, Strange Way of Life, Uninvited Guest, Gladiator 2, The Materialist, Fantastic Four, and many other projects from art house cinema to series and summer blockbusters. Pascal plays everyone. Hero lovers, ruthless killers, protagonists, antagonists, scientists, mafia members, fathers, princes. He fights in arenas, in space, in zombie apocalypse worlds, medieval fantasy, and even in Mexico. In short, he's incredibly successful and a good actor who always delivers a wide range capable of both drama and comedy. He's convincing, precise, pleasant to watch. He holds the viewer's attention, but unfortunately, because his acting career lacks selectivity and he takes literally everything, and because he appears too often in news headlines, social media, and various talk shows, perceiving him separately from his image and name becomes increasingly difficult. If such large-scale media presence doesn't hurt actors like The Rock or Statham, since they always play themselves in the same image, it's much more complicated with a dramatic actor trying to play different characters in different roles. The viewer starts getting tired, the actor's presence on screen interferes, as it destroys belief in the proposed circumstances. And instead of Reed Richards or Joel, you see Pedro, and memories surface before your eyes. But how did it happen? At what moment did something go wrong? And what's behind this advertising campaign and popularization of Pascal as the most beautiful and correctly masculine man on the planet? Let's figure it all out. Pedro Pascal quickly became successful. Perfect public position for an actor. Early 20s, perfect origin, backstory, good acting skills, charming appearance, plus rather strange behavior in front of cameras, which was initially presented as the actor's struggle with psychological problems, constraints, traumas. Pascal's image became even more understandable and pleasant for the public, as behind the sexually confident man's facade hid a vulnerable soul and sensitive masculinity. Supposedly, he's not ashamed to ask others for support. He manifests as he desires, ignoring social moral norms. Everything would be fine if politics and this society's mood hadn't gradually started changing. More precisely, if there hadn't been oversaturation of mass media space with such narratives and general accumulated viewer fatigue from agenda-related themes and narratives. Rachel Zegler's antics, Pascal's friend, failures and scandals around the Last of Us series where Pascal played the main role, plus a series of actor statements with direct insults toward J.K. Rowling, the US government, Trump supporters, and other significant contextual outbursts led the audience to observe the actor more closely and relate more critically to what they previously ignored. So, gradually, unsightly facts began surfacing and what's often called alarming red flags. However, for some reason, the actor's universal cancellation didn't happen. And by universal cancellation, I mean loud headlines from left liberal portals and newspapers that would have already fired articles exposing his behavior if any other actor were in Pedro's place. But why? Because Pedro Pascal today is a symbol of masculinity. Over the past 3 years, American mass media portals and sites have peddled and presented Pascal's image as a symbol of new masculinity, the ideal modern man, with headlines like, "Pedro Pascal is not only sexy, but also rejects toxic masculinity." This turns us on even more. Dozens, if not hundreds of newspapers supporting woke agenda published this. Yes, Pedro Pascal became a male icon for witnesses of inclusivity and racial diversity since 2020. And suppose such a man's behavior suddenly turns out contradictory. For many such newspapers, publishing this information would be like shooting themselves in the foot. After all, selling an image as ideal, you simply don't have the right to admit your symbol can't withstand any criticism. Add to this the current 180-degree turn toward returning classical images of men and women, full families to cinema and advertising, and you get the right idea of why the image of Pedro imposed on society began crumbling like a house of cards. What can we say when recent scandalous Zin advertising, which plays on the words jeans and jeans, raised the company's stock value and capitalization by 13% in just a few days? The viewer understood and decided what they want and wish to see on screen. And it's definitely not Pedro licking a phallus. Okay, Pedro Pascal is everywhere. Fine, he corresponds to certain society's ideal. But what creates the dissonance in perceiving his image for us? Why don't we just not care? If you don't know, besides his acting work, Pedro often speaks with very active positions on many acute social issues. Every time he gets a microphone, he either jokes, flirts, or uses this opportunity to talk about important things. Pedro Pascal is that type of artist who always and everywhere sends the right message. Always, one of the gang, perfectly observes all requests from those who then popularize him. In all backstage videos, he's shown as kind, warm, bright, eternally hugging everyone. A person who, despite his little oddities, remains the kindest and best of all in the world. And I'll remind you, this actor, who loves all his colleagues, hid during a lesson from his student to steal a role from under his nose, using connections and acquaintances. Again, he didn't just pass an audition, his student came to him for advice. And he took the phone, called the showrunner's wife, and secured the role right during that lesson. And it would seem you're mega successful, you have excellent data, a great career, take a pause, choose a suitable role, create for many, many years. But the moment an actor forgets who he is and what his profession entails, the moment he becomes a mouthpiece for certain ideas and meanings, he inevitably loses contact with both audience and reality, and his rise lightning fast concludes with a fall. That's all for today's breakdown of the Pedro Pascal phenomenon. What are your thoughts? Are you experiencing Pascal fatigue or still a fan? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Hollywood deep dives. Until next time, keep watching critically.